Hello Audrey.
Hello. Hi, Yad.
Mathilde.
How are you? Good.
And you?
We're going to wait for Audrey and Christelle to log in.
Sure.
I see Audrey entered the session. Audrey, you can share your audio and camera. So for people to connect. As people log in, I guess you can, if you have any specific questions to ask Francois from product, you can let us know. You have network issue. Okay. I guess I'll let you fix those issues, and I'm going to start with Yad. So I was saying, if you have any questions, product-related questions, just ask them in the chat. We have Emeline that's here with us, and she'll be able to answer. So yeah, do not hesitate. People are still connecting, but we can begin. So Yad, thank you so much for being here today. You are here representing Chalhoub Group, so you're live from Dubai right now.
Yeah.
So maybe you can quickly introduce yourself and Chalhoub Group.
Thank you for having me first, Mathilde. So I'm Iyad. I'm the head of digital HR at Chalhoub Group. Chalhoub Group is a luxury beauty and fashion retail in the Middle East. We are mainly the main partner of LVMH in the region, and we have a headcount of 12,000 employees. We are based in 9 countries. So we receive a lot of application, around 10,000 per month, and around 30,000 through ICRC chatbot per year.
Okay. So we've been working together for about a year, I think.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, as you were saying, you're using the chatbot, the on-demand video interview, the live interview. You're also using Easy Speaking. Is that correct?
Yeah, so we used Easy Speaking for during the pandemic, actually. So the example you gave was us. And we're so happy that we just purchased CV parsing and CV matching, which will help us a lot, especially the big number of candidates that we will receive due to the pandemic and emergency.
We'll be discussing that for sure. My first question, so we talked together earlier in the week, and of course we talked a lot about the pandemic, and it's quite inevitable because your activity was severely impacted, especially as a retail group. But you sought opportunity because you also have your stores, but you also have your e-commerce website. And what's really interesting is that you managed to repurpose employees that work on the field, and so of course that were furloughed, that couldn't continue working. So could you tell me a little bit more about how you successfully led this project and what tool you used, and
Yeah. So first, it's been 2 years we're working with Chalhoub. Thank you, Pauline. Time flies. And with ICRC. So mainly during the pandemic, and most of the region where function is were really severely hit. So we were in a complete lockdown. All the malls were shut, all the stores were shut, and we had a lot of frontline employees that cannot reach their offices. And at the same time, we noticed that our e-com and our clienteling through WhatsApp and other things was booming. So we needed to really repurpose our employees. Our e-com websites were not in Arabic, so we needed to translate those websites to Arabic, and we needed a lot of support in the warehouse for us to be able to deliver the products on time. So our TA team, with the help of Laurent and Pauline from Easy Recruit, repurposed Easy Speaking and the pre-recorded video interview for us to use them for our internal employees. So we tested a lot of employees to see if they're fluent in Arabic and in English to help us and support us translate the e-com website. And we used the pre-recorded video interview for us to see how they speak and how they use the language. And it helped a lot. We were able to really move a lot of employees and talk about internal mobility from the stores to support in the warehouse and in e-com.
That's really interesting, actually. I'm curious to know, do some employees, so those employees that you repurposed, are they going to go back to their original jobs, or is there new opportunities for them? Do they actually want to go back to their original jobs? So how are you dealing with this?
So mainly it's both. Due to the pandemic as well, we had a lot of store closures. So we managed to hire those employees in other positions, and few of them were interested in changing roles, and they applied for new roles. So it's both. And what's good is that employees were volunteering to support because they felt that the group was not doing well in a way and needed their support, and they did volunteer to give the extra hand which we needed.
So another question that's linked to what you just said, you mentioned in our conversation earlier this week that there's no going back to normal. We talk a lot about the new normal, and the back to normal for Chalhoub Group is definitely not happening. But you see exciting challenges ahead, actually, and you see especially the new skills emerging, the necessity to develop new skills and new jobs as well. So can you tell me a bit more about how your company plans to accompany this change?
So mainly, it's true. We never know when there's another lockdown, or we never know what kind of sorry, I always lose this one, of skills we need. And I think now we reach a point where we need a lot of hybrid skills of people that more than one thing. And this is what we've seen during the pandemic. And we're going to see a big number of candidates applying due to the recession that is hitting all over the world. So what my job is to support our TA team with the screening, pre-filtering, and reaching the right candidates. And this is exactly why we went with CV parsing and CV matching, because it supports as a pre-screening step before they reach our TA team. Second, we need to really enable them with the right tools. We'll have a lot of candidates, so we need to use the MCQs of the chatbot. We need to use the pre-recorded interview with the stack ranker, so we reach the candidates that we want. I'm sure that a lot of roles will still be niche, like all the digital roles, the Python coders and everything else. But we do have a lot of bulk hiring, and we need tools to support in these roles.
Another question I had was regarding, we talk about the wave of applicants, the upcoming or one that already exists. It depends on the regions of the world where you are, caused by the layoffs and the furloughs of the crisis. And how are you managing, because you did mention that you had even more candidates than you used to before. So how do you manage this wave of applicants while maintaining a good candidate experience that reflects your company culture and values?
Yeah. So mainly, as I said, we need to set in place the right tools to be able to manage these candidates and make sure to keep the right to give them the right candidate experience. So we don't want them hanging for a month or two. So with a lot of screening and filtering help with the AI of the CV matching, the CV parsing, and the stack ranker, it will support us in keeping or having the right candidate pool. Second, we need to look a lot into our internal mobilities because, and this is what we're working on currently, because now there's a lot of roles that are being made redundant, but we're trying to build the right skills in our group and upskill our employees to be able to do the needed roles instead of hiring externally. So mainly support the TA team with the right tools and making sure that the AI is working correctly. And second, looking at our internal talent and upskilling them, because we know what's happening outside and we don't want to have more redundant people and more people that are looking for roles.
Okay, I don't remember if you mentioned, are the stores opened again in Dubai? Are you rolling like before, or are you really reduced activity?
No, we're working like before. We just have a bit of like the office is not open. However, the stores and the mall are fully opened, which is great.
Okay, and do you see like new challenges for managers maybe? Because do you see like a shift between of culture between people who are working in the stores and then the headquarters that are working remotely? How do you deal with that?
Yeah, we noticed that because mainly the headquarters is still working fully or 50% remotely. However, our frontline have to be in the store. We're making sure to support them with all the right tools. Like we supported them with having a helpline for people who are not feeling well morally or emotionally due to COVID, for people who are afraid to go to work. We are opening internal mobility again for people who don't feel safe to be in the stores. We're trying to support as much as possible. However, at the end, each one has a role, so we cannot all be in the back office because no one will be selling in the stores. So what we do is we have a team that handles our people experience, and they're trying as much as possible to support with speaking session, with we also have a page about COVID, how to be safe, how to not spread the virus and everything. So we support as much as possible and we listen as much as possible, and this is what's needed of us from our employees.
So you would say you agree with what Hangli said earlier, that now in HR everyone needs to be more agile.
Exactly. And I think we've witnessed that. I've implemented tools as much as I've implemented my whole career this few months, because we really need to keep up to date with what's happening, and we need to support our frontline or back office employees with the right tools to be able to perform from wherever they are. I don't think we will never go back to 100% being at the office now.
Okay. And this is where the importance of automation comes in. Okay, great. Well, thank you very much. I see that Audrey and Christelle were able to log in and be here with us. Hi, how are you?
Hi, we're good.
Hi.
Thanks also for being here. So maybe you could quickly introduce yourselves. So Audrey and Christelle are from the International Committee of the Red Cross in Geneva. So yeah, introduce yourselves, what you do there, and maybe a quick intro about the company.
So maybe first starting with the ICRC. So ICRC is one of the leading humanitarian and quite famous. At least you know the emblem, the Red Cross. So the aim of the mandate of the ICRC is to provide assistance and protection to people affected by conflicts and armed violence. So basically, we have a workforce of 19,000 people working in 90 what we call delegations, so offices in the fields. So the field for us is Yemen, Syria, Iraq, South Sudan, but also other contexts like Ukraine, Venezuela, etc. So a very diverse workforce, and in our workforce we have more than 500 different nationalities, so it's quite diverse. So I'm the head of recruitment operations, based at the headquarters in Geneva, and my team is recruiting for the headquarters because we have here 1,000 plus people working in Geneva, and also recruiting for expatriates, so people like going in places and like every changing of context and locations every 12, 24, 48 months.
And yeah, I'm Christelle, so I'm project and process officer for talent acquisition. I mainly work with Audrey's team on everything regarding processes, but also I have a huge part of work with our ATS and all the technology part, and I'm the focal point with Easy Recruit and for any development issue and so on.
Not issue, challenges.
Challenges. yeah, let's say challenges because
Exactly.
to be honest.
Okay, so my first question is around how you hire. So ICRC hires in pools. So in that context, why was it important for you to integrate the on-demand video and the on-demand video interview to pre-screen candidates?
Yeah, so we recruit by pool. Just as a quick introduction, it means that we have positions open all year long, and we receive, let's say, a continuous flow of candidates on those positions, who will then be, if I may, stored in a pool for the talent manager, who will then identify a mission on the field and then propose the mission to a suitable candidate in the pool, and then we'll deploy this person on the field. So as I said, it means that we have incoming candidates all year long, and we have a very high volume to manage. So it was really important to have the pre-recorded video interview in order to streamline the process and also to optimize the process, to be more efficient, and also to be able to provide as much information we can on technical skills of the candidates to the managers already at the screening stage. So this is why the pre-recorded for us is really important on pool positions.
Okay, and around that, you were talking about how maybe it helped the communication with your managers on the field. So could you tell me a little bit more about this?
So our main stakeholders, I would say, are these people deploying then the staff in the field. So their core activity is not to recruit, as all stakeholders for TA teams. So the pre-recorded video interview helps us also during the intake meeting to really list the key requirements we will assess the candidates against, to make sure that we first assess these competencies in the pre-recorded video interview, but also to make sure that we all agree on what's requirement and what's not. So it kind of helped us, because we were like, okay, if you're screening this long list with the CV, we still at the ICRC do read the cover letters, because motivation is key to work in the humanitarian field. So you have the CV, you have the cover letter, you need an extra info to help you to decide. So it will be key elements on hard skills. So let's agree also on this hard skills. And then the flow is quite smooth, because we get the feedback from the Easy Recruit platform, and we can actually automatically then process the candidate with the next stage, which is for us usually the language test with easy speaking. So we don't have to wait for the stakeholder to be available to have a meeting, an email, a text message, or a pigeon voyageur. It's quite smooth.
Okay, so just to bounce back on exactly what you were saying, I wanted to focus a little bit on how ICRC digitalized the candidates assessments. So you were talking a little bit about the languages with easy speaking, but I was also wondering about how you identify soft skills in with the pre-recorded interview, but also technical skills with the test builder, because I think it's interesting for participants to know that the test builder was developed for ICRC. So could you tell me a little bit more about that and how it changed your hiring process and what problems it solved?
Yeah, so we started in 2018 with the easy speaking and the pre-recorded video interview. And we really wanted to be more effective, but efficient, but also to improve the user experience and candidate experience. Because at that time, for example, for the language test, the candidate had to book a meeting with our previous provider, and then to be available for a call, and then to do the test. And for the technical test, was almost the same, maybe worse, because we had a HR administrator who had to contact the candidate, agree on a date and time, and when it's done, they will send an email with the technical test to the candidate, and then make sure that they receive the email back from the candidate with the test by the limit time. Yeah. So it was really here a matter of user candidate experience to also remove those time-consuming tasks and binding tasks. So we wanted to automatize the process. We have a lot of integrations. We have integrations with our ATS for easy speaking, pre-recorded video interview, and soon builder. And yeah, it's also for the manager. It's also easier because they have all the candidate information at the same place, so on the same platform. So if they connect on Easy Recruit, they will have access to the test, to the technical test, pre-recorded video interview, and also a language test. So it's really a matter of flexibility, because we give flexibility to the candidates, because we are active globally. So we have sometimes issues and challenges with the time zones. So now it's solved because the candidate receives a link and he's free to decide whenever he wants to take the test. And
it's also solving the issue we have with candidates.
Yeah. Oops, sorry, I didn't catch that, Audrey.
Yeah. Because so the majority of our candidates are already working in the humanitarian field context where connectivity is not good. So they can switch from using Easy Recruit on a laptop to the smartphone if it's better to use the 3D or 4D. We're not even talking about 5G. So they try with their smartphone to see if they can perform the test. So for them, it's giving them like more chances to even demonstrate that they're good candidates and not under pressure, because we had some candidates before, even for the interview, who had to go in a cyber cafe to do the Skype interview, and it was super limited and even expensive for some of them. So now we solve that with Easy Recruit.
Yeah, and so the process is it's fairer for everyone and more objective. Okay, cool. One thing we discussed, I think it was last week, is how the pre-recorded interview is a great tool for diversity and inclusion. Could you maybe tell me a bit more about that?
So we kind of discovered that it was not the main goal and the purpose of having Easy Recruit services integrated, but we discovered that given the volume, because to give you an idea, last year we received 35,000 applications for 1,200 interviews. So it's quite massive. And we were like conscious about time and resources, and we were like, while screening resumes, we were like, okay, this candidate has not ticked all the boxes, so we are not going to give him the chance. So we are going to reject this person, even if you can feel in the cover letter or in the CV that there is this little je ne sais quoi, which could be for our work and the humanitarian action. So we were like, with the recorded video interview, we are giving the chance to these candidates which have this experience at the edge. So we are more willing to give them the chance and ask them to invite them to do the pre-recorded video interview. And very often we have very good surprise. Because they have this hands-on and passion and stars in the eyes we're looking for, which is not objective and tangible, but then we try to be more tangible during interviews and tests. So yeah, and we had great stories like this, that this maybe junior, less experienced candidates had a new chance, and at the end of the day are even recruited and deployed in the field.
Mm-hmm. So it's the question I asked Iyad, but I can ask you the same, to bounce back on what Hung said about the importance of being agile. What do you think about that now, just to face future challenges? And of course, you are from very different industries, from humanitarian to big retail group. It's not at all the same, but would you both agree that, now you need to be agile and adapt and to move forward?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the world is changing. Even, I mean, again, the humanitarian action is even more agile today, because we have to operate with even people working remotely, not in the context. This population, even sometimes remotely. So we didn't have the choice. We had to be more agile at the HQ level. So we had to. I mean, first the IT teams have done amazing work, because we were home and day one, so it was great. And then for my team, we have less activity today, because we are not deploying so much in the field due to the airlines connection, etc. So even my team is even supporting other HR teams which needs to give support to the people in the field. So even first we have to be more agile, and more agile for our candidates also, because they are also experiencing the same challenges.
Yeah, for sure. Cool, thank you. I don't know if there are any questions in the chat. Feel free to ask. We even have François who is present with us. So if it's a question for Iyad or a question for Audrey or Christelle, for François, just do not hesitate. And I don't know, do you guys have maybe one last tips for HR managers? I mean, you all have very different jobs, from Iyad to Christelle to Audrey, but any tips, anything?
I think from my end, just listen to your employees and your candidates and your managers, and listen. So we do survey every touch point of the candidate and of the employees in Chalhoub, and we did a lot of progress based on that. So keep listening to them and support them as much as possible.
So we are not there yet, but we're working to survey our candidates and our stakeholders, because I'm convinced that the way we could improve and have this mindset to even question ourselves: are we doing right or wrong? Because sometimes we even convinced, because we have not done that for years and it's working, that it's the right way to do it, and we are blind. So we're going to survey also, I hope quite soon, our candidates and our main stakeholders. Yes, to adapt to the situation, to find solutions, because we have now great tools which are enabling all these processes, which for us before were quite heavy and now are lighter. So if it's lighter for us, it's lighter for the candidate, but also for others who are super busy. So yeah, to take the opportunity even during a crisis, take the opportunity to say, okay, let's do it differently.
Okay, interesting. There are no questions. There's still a little bit of time. Before I forget, Emeline is going to share with you in the chat the survey, the satisfaction survey. So everyone could take a moment to answer and let us know how we can improve, what we did right, and what you would expect to see for the next time. So Emeline posted the survey. And I guess if there's no more questions or maybe no more comments from Iyad, Audrey, or Christelle, I think we're good here.
Yeah, thank you.
I invite all the participants to, you can network, so still a navigation on the left, there's a networking booth, but you can also go explore the expo booth with our partners, so Smart Recruiters, Digital Recruiters, and SAP SuccessFactors. We're still going to be here for the event chat in case, you forgot to ask something and you wish to ask something, we're still here. But other than that, thank you all for being here. Thank you so much again, Iyad and Audrey and Christelle, for participating. It was great. It was really interesting and insightful. Yeah, so take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.